Welcome back to NBAA TV. I'm your host, Amy Sweezy, and my next guest is Stephanie Goetz. Stephanie is one of the winners of the 40 Under 40 Award. Stephanie, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
First of all, congratulations on the award.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about that, but first I want to talk about just, why you're here. You are a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you work for and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a first officer at NetJets. I fly the Citation Latitude, and we fly people all over the world. Mostly we fly people in my aircraft, which has about a 2,800 nautical mile range, mostly around North America and South America, but on any of the aircraft in our fleet, they can go all over the world.
And you've only been a pilot for 4 years.
Yes.
So it's kind of new.
Yes.
But before that, you had a totally different career. How did you end up moving into business aviation?
Yes, I had a much different career. So I was in front of the camera as a newscaster at ABC, NBC, and CBS affiliates for about 10 years. And during that time, I got a call out of the blue from a flight instructor who said, you should do a story on aviation. And I was like, well, that would be amazing. That sounds fun. So I went to go do the story on it. And he's like, well, you're going to be flying the plane. I'll teach you. And I was like, did not expect that. That would be fun. And I remember taking off and pulling the yoke back for the first time and going, where has this been all my life? And who's been hiding aviation from me? I'd been around it. I'd done stories in Black Hawk helicopters or B-17 bombers and been around the Blue Angels, but I never ever counted myself in to aviation. And finally, when someone actually put me in that seat and actually allowed me to fly the plane, that's when I realized I can actually do this. And so from that point forward, I was able to meet another gentleman in aviation. He really watered that seed and really helped me grow my love for aviation from there.
And of course, now you're a 40 Under 40 Award winner.
Yes.
So tell me what this award means for you.
I mean, this is unbelievably humbling, and I'm so appreciative because I know how many amazing people there are in business aviation. I also know the caliber of individuals in it. One of the things that was particularly special about receiving this award is knowing the values of NBAA. They encourage people to lead from any seat. They, this caring for each other, but more so delivering and really focusing on excellence. And I have lived that my whole life. When I was a newscaster, a business owner now doing executive coaching, I really strive for that, but especially being a pilot, because at any point in time when you're flying the aircraft, anything can happen, an abnormality or even, God forbid, an emergency. And so you have to really raise up to that level of excellence. And so to be around and be awarded with also equally excellent people really means a lot. And it really means a lot, especially coming into this industry as an outsider and contributing as much as I can and being very, very, very welcomed by so many people in the industry.
And NBAA is such a promoter of the next generation of business aviation professionals. So how important do you think it is to grow that sector?
I think it's huge because it is not as well of a known sector. I knew nothing about business aviation until I met my now husband, who's a pilot and who had his own airplane. And then I was like, what is an FBO? What are these lines people? Oh, I didn't know any of that until I was introduced to it. And so for me, it's really critical that we introduce people to all aspects of aviation. Airlines play a vital role, but so does business aviation in so many factors, whether it's passenger transport, cargo, medical, and so many other pieces of it. It's really important. Plus, there's also really fulfilling careers that are not in the pilot seat. There are tons, thousands and thousands that are not flying the plane. And so if you're interested in aviation and you want to be a mechanic, or you want to lead a team of individuals at an FBO, or you lead an entire broker group, there's so many other jobs out there that go beyond being a pilot. So people who are aviation enthusiasts who don't necessarily want to fly the plane, but they want to have some impact on business aviation, there is a job for you.
Were there things in your past career that you feel like you learned that are now beneficial to you in your new career?
Absolutely. As you know well, you have to be on at any given moment and not let anything that's distracting really rattle you and throw you off. In the flight deck, you really have to be focused, especially if it's times of emergencies or some abnormalities going on within the flight. And so what I've learned is that ability to handle the stress in the moment and stay compartmentalized and focus on safety, that was certainly grown in my years as a broadcaster, and being on and being present and being focused on that specific task at hand, which is the same as when you're flying the airplane, being focused on this leg, even though we have 4 or 5 more flights today, focus on this one and get that done safely and well, and then focus on the next one.
And of course, you are a female pilot. So can you talk a little bit more about the importance of getting more women involved in the business aviation industry?
Yeah, it's so important to get women involved in aviation as a whole, because currently, as far as pilots go, only about 6% of pilots are female. It's such a small percentage. And I'm seeing so much great growth in that from the younger generation right now. What I'm also seeing is that there are people like me in my mid-30s, is when I got my pilot's license, that are just completely changing careers, a complete 180, and that is definitely possible. Why is it important that we have women in the aviation field, other than the obvious, just it's the right thing to do? You get a diversity of thought and a diversity of input with any diverse talent that you put into an industry. And so when you have women, they'll have a different perspective or a different way of doing things. And I have seen time and time again, and I've heard this from my male flight instructors, they're like, don't tell anyone, but women are excellent pilots, but they're even sometimes better than their male counterparts in some respects. And so ultimately they're excellent and just as qualified as their male counterparts. And what I'm seeing more and more in the industry is that first of all, for women to continue to be in it, we have to support them. They are different than men when it comes to childbearing, of course, and child rearing. And so we have to allow that space for women to be able to want to have a family and come back to the flight deck and be supported on that aspect, but also be supported at home too. The other piece of that is that they have to be welcome.
Right.
If it's been a place on any side of it where it's been dominant one gender or one group of people, you have to go out of your way sometimes to say, we're going to make this person feel welcome. So it's not only having them come in, but making it a very inclusive place and a place that women want to be. And I'm seeing more and more and more of that happening. There's still work to do, certainly, but there's a lot of great groups doing that. And there's also a lot of great individuals on an individual level saying, I can actually have a huge impact just by in the flight deck, making it a welcoming place. And when I hear things that are said that are probably not appropriate, saying and sticking up for them even when they're not here, it plays huge dividends for us in the long run.
And that's all part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Exactly.
Which I know is very important to you and your
Yeah,
husband.
yeah, it is. It's so important to us. So when I came into this industry, I thought, well, it's 50-50, right? And it's like, not at all. And so, but that's okay. We're moving forward in that realm. And there's a lot of work to do, but we're going forward. So my husband and I are very passionate that every year we give multiple scholarships out to individuals and also to organizations. Our favorite to give are to Women in Aviation, OBAP, the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, NGPA, which is a National Gay Pilots Association, and then FAST, which is Female Aviators Sticking Together. And that one we love, especially because it's something like 12,000 plus female pilots around the world in a group to be able to ask questions and get support from each other and everything. And we always give a multi-engine scholarship. So that's no small amount. They're each about $5,000. And we like to give multiple out each year because we believe that is also the gateway to the big jobs. If you're going to fly professionally, most flying is in a 2+ engine jet or 2+ engine propeller aircraft. So they have to have that rating. And that one can be expensive. It can be towards the end of their ratings, and it's exhausting mentally, physically, financially, everything. And so we like to support in that way. And we also do a lot of mentoring too. It's not just giving financially. You have to be able to, to say, I am here anytime you feel like you want to quit. Because I felt like that. We all feel like that at some point. But getting through training is really critical because it's not training forever. Just like we're not in college forever, even though it can feel daunting to be studying all the time. Allowing them that opportunity to say, you have support, we are here for you, and we want to hear about your celebrations. And I love getting those pictures and texts from people who go, I did it, or I got the job at Delta, or I got the job flying for NetJets, or I got that job at Clay Lacy. I mean, it feels amazing to get that.
Awesome. Well, Stephanie Goetz, it's clear to me why you won this 40 Under 40 award for sure. So congratulations again.
Thank you. I'm so honored.
And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. You are watching NBAA TV.